Just a little anarchy. Upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos.
In the first decade of the 21st century, film style has changed profoundly. Throughout the first century of movie making, the default style of commercial cinema was classical. It was meticulous and patient. In theory, at least, every composition and camera move had a meaning, a purpose. And movies did not cut without good reason. It was considered sloppy, even amateurish. Mainstream films once prided themselves on keeping the viewer well-oriented. They wanted to make sure that you always knew where you were and what was happening. Action was always intelligible, no matter how frenetic the scenario. A prime example, John Woo's classic Hong Kong action film, Hard Boiled. The action is wild and extravagant, but it is nevertheless coherent and comprehensible at all times. Viewers feel and experience the exaggerated shootout fantasy without ever losing their bearings. Precision, in terms of camera work, editing, and staging, is key. Woo's film is in fact strongly influenced by the work of American directors such as Sam Peckinpah and Martin Scorsese. A similarly great American action film is John McTiernan's Die Hard. Notice the economy of cuts and camera moves in this scene. The fight itself is frantic, yet clearly understandable, both riveting and stabilizing, the MO of classical cinema. But in the past decade, that bit of received wisdom went right out the window. Commercial films became faster, overstuffed, hyperactive. Rapid editing, close framings, bipolar lens, and promiscuous camera movement now define commercial filmmaking. Film scholar David Bordwell gave this type of filmmaking a name: intensified continuity. But Bordwell's phrase may not go far enough. In many post-millennial releases, we're not just seeing an intensification of classical technique, but a perversion. Contemporary blockbusters, particularly action movies, trade visual intelligibility for sensory overload. The result is a film style marked by excess, exaggeration, and overindulgence. Chaos cinema. Chaos cinema apes the illiteracy of the modern movie trailer. They consist of a barrage of high-voltage scenes. Every single frame runs on adrenaline. Every shot feels like the hysterical climax of a scene that an earlier movie might have spent several minutes building toward. Chaos cinema is a never-ending crescendo of flair and spectacle. It's a shotgun aesthetic, firing a wide swath of sensationalistic technique that tears the old classical filmmaking style to bits. Chaos cinema directors aren't interested in spatial clarity. It doesn't matter where you are, and it barely matters if you know what's happening on screen. The new action films are fast, florid, volatile, an audiovisual war zone. Even the attentive spectator may have trouble finding his bearings in a film like this. Trying to orient yourself in a work of chaos cinema is like trying to find your way out of a maze, only to discover that your map has been replaced by a reproduction of a Jackson Pollock painting. The only art here is the art of confusion.
Get outside! Pay attention to what you're doing!
Consider Michael Bay's Bad Boys 2, an explosive mixture of out-of-control editing, intrusive snatch-and-grab shots, and a hyperactive camera. Bay's cacophony stifles the viewer's ability to really process the film's CGI-assisted skirmishes. The action is cool to look at, but it's hard to discern in detail, and there's no elegance to it. The shots are often wobbly. Sometimes this is due to the use of deliberately shaky handheld cameras. Other times, the filmmakers have made relatively stable shots seem much wilder and blurrier in post-production through the use of After Effects software.
This is some sick shit! Yup, it's about to get sicker. Watch out, watch out! Oh, they are not about to do that. Hell yes, they are!
Considering all the deliberate insanity occurring on screen, these movies should be totally unintelligible, yet we still have a faint sense of what's going on. Why? Because of the soundtrack. Chaos films may not offer concrete visual information, but they insist that we hear what is going on screen. Ironically, as the visuals in action films have become sloppier, shallower, and blurrier, the sound design has become more creative, dense, and exact. This is what happens when you lose your eyesight. Your other senses try to compensate. Consider the relentless machine gun fire, roaring engines, and bursting metal that dominate the opening of Mark Forster's James Bond entry, Quantum of Solace. The scene's dense sound effects track fills in the gaps left by its vague and hyperactive visuals. But the image-sound relationship is still off kilter. What we hear is definitely a car chase, period. But what we see is a car chase. French auteur Robert Bresson rightfully stressed the importance of sound in the formation of atmospheric depth in movies. He even argued for its primacy, saying that in some ways sound might be more important than picture. But in lavishly funded action films that wish to create an immersive experience, sound and image should be complementary, and they should be communicative. In Quantum of Solace, and in other works of chaos cinema, image and sound ultimately do not enter into a dialogue. They just try to outshout each other. In contrast to Bay's and Forster's haphazard execution of action, consider the meticulously staged and photographed car chase in Ronin. In contemporary action cinema, such a particular sequence is unfortunately hard to find.